Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we get to explore the ideas from the Untethered Soul from Michael Singer. The book starts by getting us to explore this simple yet profound question: who am I? Commonly, we either reply with a name or some form of description of our life or status. For example, I'm Rob, or I'm Rob and I'm a YouTube creator. That is all true, but it only scratches the surface of who we actually are. Remove the name or the associated identity, and one still exists. Then, if we explore the things that make us, i.e., our feelings and thoughts, we realize that while these things can direct our actions, they don't really define us. In fact, if we take a step back, we can actually review, reflect, and observe our thoughts and emotions, both past and present. So, by doing this exercise, you actually become an observer of your inner self. Ultimately, the book suggests that it is this awareness or this center of consciousness that is who we are, the subject, and not the labels, thoughts, emotions, and experiences, which really are the objects that we are now observing. So why is this important? This is because by detaching ourselves from being defined by such labels, thoughts, or emotions, we now have the ability to observe and dictate our responses to life experiences. Firstly, we can learn to control the inner energy that flows through us. For example, when we get angry, commonly we can either lose control and blow up, or we have to remind ourselves to control the anger. The first option means that by blowing up, the negative energy is now expanded to the outer world, and you risk creating more negative vibes around you by annoying others. The second option, while seems logical, actually creates energy blockages. You're not solving a problem, you're just putting a temporary plug or stop. If so, a similar event or future trigger might lead to the suppressed anger to re-emerge, hence creating great internal discomfort and turmoil. Instead of these two options, which are not ideal, learn the art of letting go. Whatever the situation, deal with it immediately and get it over with. Then remind yourself, this is anger, it will pass. By doing this, the energy doesn't get exaggerated or pent up. Instead, it just flows through you and leaves. The next idea is to recognize and understand fear. The exploration of oneself is intrinsically linked to the natural ups and downs of life, and this can either generate personal growth or create personal fear. For many, changes are either exciting or frightening, and it is through the conditionings from birth that we start to fear change or things that are beyond our control. Now, this stifles creativity because one would try to control events, or worse still, people, to fit into their comfort zones. In short, this creates an illusion of safety when, in fact, it is not safe, because trying to control everything means that the world truly becomes threatening. Life becomes a constant battle to avoid change or manipulate others, and ultimately, this will really lead to much unhappiness and potential confrontation. So again, embrace the philosophy that change is nothing more than an opportunity for growth. And if others don't fit your expectations, accept things as they are and move along your path of self-improvement and reflection. Now, fear is not the only thing or object that holds us back. There is this concept of an inner thorn. An inner thorn can be anything, for example, loneliness. As an inner thorn is a great irritant, we have two options to manage it. The first is to protect the thorn from being touched. Now, this will require modifying your life to avoid situations that stir it up. So going by the example of loneliness, one might either avoid places where couples go to so that you're not stirred up by the negative emotions, but ultimately in the dead of the night, the thorn may still bother you. Or you may be lucky and marry a person that either makes you less lonely, but this too can become a band-aid because deep down you fear losing the person from either a breakup or even death. You then worry about the relationship or start giving in to the whims and fancies of the person, which we also know ultimately risk tension and discomfort. Alternatively, learn to remove that inner thorn. The author suggests that in cases of loneliness, once the negative emotion starts appearing, again start to play the role of the observer rather than being the object that's experiencing it. Appreciate that the feeling too will pass, and with time, this practice actually builds resilience and will free oneself from the clutches of disruptive energies. And know that in future, if you do meet a person, you will be with that person not because they solve your problem of loneliness, but because that person truly loves you for who you are. Next is the concept of freeing the soul. This time, the practice is to be done on a daily basis where you observe your thoughts at certain points in time. If you take a moment for yourself, try this. You will realize that your collection of mind chatter is actually a collage of dramas intertwined with emotions. You'll realize that most of the noise is really unproductive. In short, always aim to stay centered and set up little daily reminders just to take stock and remember who you are and how you really want to feel and live your life. Following this practice, letting things go. Start small. Perhaps somebody cut you off in traffic, so instead of blaring the horn and getting worked up for the next hour, just observe, smile and let the energy flow through you. Then as you build up the habit, it becomes easier just to observe things as they are instead of letting every minutiae create a whirlpool of negativity within. Lastly is the idea of death. Look, death will come to all eventually, but often this topic is not openly discussed, or people try to live by hanging on to every materialistic pleasure or experience that they can grab onto. Just remember that death is a friend, reminding us to truly embrace living life to the fullest. That is all it is. On a personal level, I was recently involved in a car accident that could have ended up very ugly or even in my departure. My car spun on a wet road down a hill, and fortunately, it was hit by oncoming traffic instead of me plunging down a ravine. Now the poor car was written off, but somehow the universe allowed me to walk away with some muscle soreness and nothing more serious. Now that experience really reminded me that life is fleeting and things can change very quickly. In addition, the incident just reaffirmed my previous beliefs on what was important: family, honesty, and fulfillment. So while the near-death experience, so to speak, may not have changed my perspective, it really helped reaffirm the trajectory that I was taking. Indeed, death was just reminding me to stay on track, and I would certainly continue to pay heed to those words. So on that note, I hope that this video resonated with you, and know that by becoming an observer of your thoughts and emotions, you will be able to allow pent-up frustrations or negative energies to pass through you instead of letting it rule your life. This in turn will help you feel more centered and achieve the freedom of your innermost being. If you found value, please consider subscribing to the channel, commenting, or hitting the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and until the next time, take care and stay well.